is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k dirtbags. We just got a new camera, so thanks for Gray for telling me to get a new camera. He was the Patreon winner of the combat or the patrol box that we gave away for the Patreons. So today's video, if you guys are clicking on it, it is Grey Knights versus Custodes. This is a GT winning Custodes list versus our testing list that we're bringing to Nova. So some things that we would change, but this is the first time he's running Custodes. He's a good player, Nolan. He's a local guy. And for him to run this list once, this is it. This is his first time running it. And still be able to just kind of walk across the table and do whatever the fuck he wants to do is kind of crazy. That just shows the difference between Grey Knights and Custodes. Now, we did a whole video, me and Rick, about what the points cost compared to Grey Knights points cost, and it's not even the same. Now, this video isn't about complaining or anything like that. I wanted to do a little bit kind of different of a battle report here. I wanted to take pictures because our Monday night games there's a lot of people and it's very loud. I have to get a curtain to try and siphon out some of the noise on Monday nights. So I wanted to take pictures so that we can kind of take our time and really play the game as best as we possibly can on camera, essentially. So I'm going to go over picture by picture. It's like my tournament videos, if you guys have seen any of those. We're going to go over tips, ideas, tactics, what I did wrong, what I could have done better at, and what he could have done better at, and kind of get into our heads of how we should be playing this game, especially against Custodes. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, do all the YouTube shit. But if you guys want to support the channel, head over to Patreon. It's $1 a month, $5 for Just the Cars, $10 if you want to get better at the game for 10th edition, and $25 for Grandmaster. We get a bunch of different perks, and you're first to do polls and get everything, and you win prizes. So we hit our $500 goal last month. We gave away a shit ton of stuff to a lot of Patreons, and once we get up to $1,000 a month, we're going to be doing a huge giveaway again for the Patreon. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's get into the video. Wow, I really like this camera. This is a lot sharper than the fucking old one that we have. So let me pull this up for you guys. We have the display capture. I took pictures again. Let me make myself smaller so I'm not taking up the whole fucking thing. All right, here we go. So this is Monday night. You can see we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We had like 12 to 13 people there last night, or that night. We actually had a guy who came up. He found us on the channel on YouTube, saw that we were in Bluebell. I was like, holy shit, I live by there. Let me come check it by. So he came by. We were talking a little bit. So nice to meet you, broski. So this was the mission. We just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Chilling Rain, no additional effects. Priority targets, you get up to 10 points a turn, up to 15 on turn 5. And then just kind of 9 inches away from the center. So we were testing out kind of alternate universes deployment, as well as somewhat of Games Workshop deployment, because at Nova, which is going to be coming up at the end of August, we don't know what the terrain is going to be. It's going to be Games Workshop terrain, but we don't know what it's going to be like. What the terrain setup's going to be like, if they're ignoring windows. I think they're ignoring all the windows, like everything is blocked, trying to stop some type of towering. And then this, we have ruins down here, ruin in the squares. We have long ruins here, ruin, forest on the outskirts, and these are line of sight blocking ruins in the back here. So one dead center, all 4 in the back. And then we have 2 units of 10 Custodes. Let's go over the list. So let me pause and go over the list for you guys. All right, today for the Grey Knights, we have the Grandmaster. He's got the Sigil with a side cannon. We have Crow. We have a Librarian with First to the Fray. And then we have a Librarian Proxy right there. We have 1 full 10-man unit of Purifiers with 4 Incinerators. We have a full 10-man Paladin Brick with 5 side cannons and the banner. We have 2 strike squads, both have a side cannon. And then we have a Terminator brick with Apothecary and banner and a side cannon. Then we have a Caldus Assassin with the Exaction squad, as well as 4 Servitors with 2 Combi Meltas. What do we got today for the Custodes?
Alright, so we have 30 Shield Guard.
Oh my god.
There are, it is 8 with Guardian Spears.
Are they painted like Quins?
Yes. This one's, so, 8 with Guardian Spears, a Vexilla in each unit, and 1 guy with a shield in each unit.
Got it.
Each of the shield are just 4 wounds each. Vexilla's 4 wounds each, but it makes them all their OC becomes 3 instead of 2 when you have the Excella.
Seems good.
Then I have 2 units of extractors, or whatever they're called. And then the Kaladius Assassin as Cypher. 2 shield captains. One will have Ceaseless Hunger, which is if you move once per game, when my opponent moves within 9 inches of them, I just move 6 inches closer, or any direction.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of like mine, just, is it free?
Yeah, it's
per game?
Yeah, enhancement.
Cool. Oh, it's enhancement.
Yeah, it's enhancement.
Okay.
And they also get, I think it's like fall back and charge or fall back and shoot.
That's cool.
And then Trajan, who's just chilling, and 5 sisters of Silence, whatever they are, prosecutors.
That is a huge 2,000 point army.
Yes.
Like compared to mine, it's literally probably more models. It's 49 versus 49. Let's see how different this is. Now, I did a whole video, Nolan, just so you know. I did a whole video of Custodes versus Grey Knight point cost, and then they're exactly the same. But what the fuck do they do compared to what we do? We're about to find out. All right, so those are the lists. So we got 2 units of 10 Custodes with sisters on the objective back there. We have 2 guys in reserves, the assassin in reserves, and another unit of Custodes deep striking. Now, I wasn't even thinking about rapid ingress, but rapid ingress with a 10-man squad of Custodes that could do free shit every single turn is insane. So I wish our Grandmaster got our free strat once per turn like everybody else does, but we're the only one in the game that has it once per battle, which is bullshit. I'm going to try not complain during this video. So we started the Paladins in the back here. We have our strikes up here with our Purifiers up here. And then that way we can kind of move up if we get turn 1 to be sticky on the objectives. And if not, we can kind of just walk back. So I have 1 strike squad against this wall here, 1 strike squad on the objective to try and make it sticky. So we got no prisoners and extend battle lines turn 1. So extend battle lines at the end of your turn if you control 1 more objectives in deployment zone and 1 in no man's land. That was an easy 5 for us. And then no prisoners, I wasn't really killing his guys turn 1. So we dropped no prisoners because it's fucking insane. We had our first to the fray target come down over here, which is our librarian with 10 terminators. We got line of sight to, I believe, this squad right here to try and get, some psychic powers off. So we wanted to get on this objective. We want to be pretty far away, so that way if he does walk up, we can then teleport away. Because we have if you come within 9 inches, I just get the fuck out of Dodge. And then our strikes pregame moved up top there. So we want to be out of, I think he overwatched and did like 1 wound or whatever. So our strikes pregame moved, scout moved up there, and then they advanced 12 inches to be on that objective up the top. So next turn, I'll be able to make that sticky as well. We got sticky on the center objective because we were able to move 6 inches up on the center objective, make that sticky in our command phase, and then we ran 12 inches over to there. So I wasn't able to get to the top objective. So my guys that were right against this wall here moved up 6 inches with scout move, made that sticky, and then just hopped over to there to try and get behind the wall. I had 1 guy that wasn't able to get the full 12 inches behind the wall. So if he wanted to shoot at that guy, he could, but he can't really see with all this ruins over here. So that was kind of the goal, just make as many sticky as possible. And we got 5 points for controlling the center objective, and we technically controlled this one as well. So we got 5 points for that secondary. And then his turn, he moves his guys up. He wasn't able to get on the objective, but we were able to spend 1 CP and get those guys out of dodge. This is where he spent 1 CP for his assassin to make our get out of dodge 2 CP, which is huge for Grey Knights. He was able to deep strike her, so that way she's not on the table and you're still able to use her ability while in deep strike. So I did the same thing. It's a really good tactic. She's 115 points, well worth it for Grey Knights. But he made that 2 CP, which was a huge hit to fucking our CP game. So I always had to try and start with 2 CP, so that way I was able to do it every single turn. So it was just a kick in the nuts. So we got them out of dodge. These guys ran up to the center objective to try and get rid of our sticky objectives. These guys moved up on the backfield objective, leaving his backfield pretty open. And that was it. So he didn't really have a crazy turn 1. He got extend battle lines, which is at the end of a turn if control 1 or more objectives in your own deployment zone. So he basically got the same thing and secured no man's land. So if at the end of your turn, if you control 2 more objectives in no man's land, so he wasn't able to get that one, because he didn't control this one down here. So on my turn 2, we picked up the strikes on this side. We teleported them over to this side. Our assassin came down in this quarter. Our paladins came back down over here, and our solo paladin also came down here. I'm going to try and essentially blow up this unit right here as much as I possibly can. So we brought everybody in to try and aim and snipe out this character. Now, I kind of messed up. I thought this was his character because it's the only different looking one in the unit. So he was nice enough to move his actual character, which looked exactly the same as everybody else, over to this spot, so that way we can try and snipe him out. So we lined up everybody to be within 18 inches and sniping range of this to try and get precision. So he just moved his one character over to this guy and just switched spots because we're testing. So he did that, and then my paladins came down over here with teleport assault, and then these guys came down also with teleport assault over here. So we teleport assaulted 1, 2, and 3, and then we deep struck because these guys were off the table, and our dread or other solo Libby and our assassin down here. So I want to try and put as many precision shots with our assassin into his character, and then all the fucking side cannons and purify flame into this guy. Then our strikes up here just moved back a little bit, try and block out the backfield. These exactors came on the board to try and block out the backfield. This is sticky, so we didn't really have to worry about getting onto it, but I don't want his assassin to come within 9 and steal my objective. Same with this one over here. So we have a lot of blocking out on this entire table. We have all the way up here, all the way down the sides, all the way down the bottom, over here, and up here. So he's got a little bit of room coming down over here and over here. So at the end of my movement, this is where he fucking came in from rapid ingress, which I didn't even think about. So rapid ingress, 10 paladin or 10 Custodes with his character, and there's literally nothing I can do in this quarter. So he basically has this entire board edge. Next turn, he's going to walk up. I can spend 2 CP to get these guys out of dodge, but he's going to walk up, take over this objective, and just charge and kill everything over there. So good move on his part. This is all I killed with my paladins on this side. This is what is left. So he's got his character with 3 wounds, 1 wound left over there, and he's got 1, 2, 3 guys and a wound, and his character after all that shooting. So the difference is our AP1 guns with all of this shit. AP1 guns did nothing. He's got like 2 up saves, so he maybe rolled 1 or 2 ones. But our purifiers with the AP1 ignoring cover is what did most of the damage. So the purifiers with Crow did most of the damage. He's got a 4 up save against mortal wounds, so Libby's didn't do too much. And the side cannons don't really do a lot with saving throws and Custodes. So just the shooting with grenades, it doesn't do anything into 2 up with cover. It's just not enough. There's not enough plunging fire with all this terrain on the board to really do anything. I could get them up here, but I don't think I would have able to got every single person up there within 3 inches trying to get plunging fire. Maybe I probably should have measured it out, but he still does have sisters on the other edge of here. So it's going to be really hard to try and get within 3, and then within 3 to get on plunging fire. So this is at the end of all the shooting, turn 2. So we killed all of that. He got secure no man's land at the end of the turn. If you control 2 more objectives in no man's land. Oh, this is what I had. So secure no man's land. So we controlled the 2. We got 1 in my table edge and the 1 top left that I still had from previous. And storm hostile objective. So I have to try and get at the end of your turn, if either of the below conditions are satisfied, you get 5 victory points. So you control 1 or more objective markers that are controlled by your opponent at the start of your turn, which we did on his home objective with the sisters. So we're able to spend 1 CP, get all these guys within 3 inches of the sisters at the top, and we stole that top objective. So we got 10 points turn 2 by controlling 2 in the center and his home field objective. Booyah. So his turn, he moves up these guys. He makes a guy. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4 and a quarter left now with his character. So he spends 1 CP. I think he spent a free CP just to make a guy. The guys in the center are strung out back here. So he's got basically everybody within, both objectives. And his sisters kind of moved back. My purifiers, I spent 2 CP to pick them up, because I didn't want them to get charged and just murdered. So we spent 2 CP to get rid of the purifiers. These guys are too far to really get feared by anybody. Plus they have sigil. And then up top here, I was like, all right, well, now my strikes are dead. So these strikes are probably going to die. and then those strikes are going to die. So I think we spent 2 CP. Look what we did. So we spent 1 CP to get these guys up, and then rapid ingress them down here to try and get ready for the counter charge. So these guys can then move up after he charges, moves up, shoots, and then charges to finish off the squad. So that was the goal, to try and whittle down 1 squad at a time. So he gets both of his charges off. This squad up here charges, and then this squad down here charges. Now, I don't know if I spent 1 CP to try and survive, but do not spend 1 CP to try and survive, because you're going to die. As long as they're touching an objective, they get reroll all hit because of the unit, and then reroll all wounds because they're on an objective, which is crazy, guys. So if they get into combat with you, you're going to die. It's maybe worth spending it on a paladin squad with the -1 to wound, but everything else is just going to die. So save your CP, you're going to die. This whole unit dies, and this whole unit up here dies. So that was fun. This is what's left. So he kills that unit, kills this unit. I have purifiers, paladins, Termies, 2 Libbies, exaction squad, and my assassin. So that's what was dead after his charge. My turn, I get in your shooting phase, you can select. So we get investigate signals at the end of your turn. If you're in a corner, 9, you get to do an action. And then overwhelming force, while the secondary mission is active, each time an enemy starting the turn in range of an objective marker to destroy, you score 3 victory points to a max of 5. So if I kill units, I get 5 points. So we're going to try and finish off this unit down here and finish off the sisters over there. All right, so maybe that was his. Yeah, I'm not sure which one. This might have been his, because I thought I had to clear the enemy outpost. We'll figure it out. So this turn, we moved up our paladins. Our exaction squad came in the back here, in the back corner. We have our solo librarian get back here. Yeah, so that might have been mine. So I had to do action. So these guys did the action back here. The solo librarian did the action back here. And then these guys did the action back here. So I got 6 points for being within 9 inches of the corners and doing the action. So the exaction squad is so good for actions. We got action. Oh, those are servitors. I changed it up. I'm going to put back exaction squads. But servitors up there, solo pally down here, or solo Libby down here, and then exaction squad over here. So that gave me 6 points. We teleported solo the Termies over to here to get back on our home field objective, to block out the home field objective. These guys are just camping up here. And then we got all of these paladins shooting into the sisters. Now, if I kill one of this man in the unit, he can spend 1 CP or free CP to make a guy to make that charge easier. So we didn't kill anybody in this unit because that would be dumb. And we just try to focus down these sisters. Now, this is what happened with the sister squad, right? We shoot like all these side cannons. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had like 6 side cannon shots going to the 3-man sister squad, and they lived. So he has a 3-up feel no pain against psychic weapons, which all of our weapons are psychic, and it's AP 1, so he has a 3-up cover save. So basically, him in cover, he has a 3-up cover save and a 3-up feel no pain. So I think he failed like 4, maybe 5 cover saves, and he rolls fucking all the feel no pains and makes all of the feel no pains. So 1 sister is left, which then we have to try and charge up, because he was OBSEC 1 and I was OBSEC 2, I believe. He might have been OBSEC 2. So he was OBSEC 2, I was OBSEC 2. So I had to charge that sister to clear off the zone and try and steal his objective. So we finished off everybody. There was 1 captain left in the bottom corner here. So we charged with my purifiers, we charged with the assassin, and then over here we charged the sisters to get onto his objective. Now this is what was left. He had fucking 1 sister left. So I had to charge it to kill it, but then he can countercharge 6 inches. So should I have left this 1 sister alive to just say, you know what, fuck the points, I'm going to leave my paladins there to try and get out of dodge next turn. But it's test game. I charged in, he countercharged. So he spent the free CP from Trajan, I believe, to fight first. He was able to get somebody on the objective, so he's able to full rerolls to wound and full rerolls to hit. Brutal. So we did the math on with Rick the other day, and he killed 5 paladins before I was able to even swing. That was with me spending 1 CP for the +1 or -1 AP, which I think Trajan ignores that, which I think forgot about. And this is what I had left. So basically I was able to pile in, move up, and we killed the one sister, and we had to take over the objective back. So we finished off the one sister, and I think we killed maybe 1 or 2 Custodes. We killed these 2 guys and left this guy 1. And I think I spent the free strat to do the mortal wounds. So we killed the one sister, we killed these 2 guys, left 1 guy on the objective, but we took the objective because we had more OPSEC on the objective. And this is what we had. So 8 points for capturing the enemy outpost, and then investigate signal. You can select 1 or more units from your army at the end of the turn, and then investigate signal. So we got that as well. So the end of his turn, these guys are still on the objective. He has his squad attacking me with the paladins over there. This one guy character died. So all he has left is really just a couple guys with Trajan and this full brick over here, and then all of his exaction squad. So now he starts bringing his guys in. So he brought his exaction squad exactly in my table quarter, so that way I think he was able to get behind enemy lines. And then he had these guys starting to move up, so that way he can hopefully take over my objective next turn. Storm hostile objective, so if he controls objective that I controlled prior, and then engage in all fronts. So he's trying to get engaged in all fronts and taking over objective. So these guys finish off the paladins. So all that's left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Trajan. He killed all the fucking paladins. Brutal. And my Grandmaster died. That was all right. And then on my turn, I'll tell you what happened with this librarian. You could probably guess what happened to the solo librarian. So these Terminators got picked up and dropped back down here. My Purifiers got picked up and came within 3 inches over to here to try and flamer and shoot all of these guys. These guys scooted up so that way they can put 2 multi-melters into that unit. I think he made 1, failed 1. And then the librarian and other guys over here. My assassin is going after his assassin. So my assassin moved up, shot, and failed the charge. And he rolled a lot of 4s, so she lived. But we had this objective. Nobody has the home objective, and then I still have my backfield objective. And this is all that's left. So we have 1 custodian guard, Trajan, and then I have Crow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with swords, and he just fucking destroys them. So all that's left is Crow and then 2 Purifiers. We fall back out of combat. We try and stay away, and then these guys try and shoot Trajan. He makes 1, fails 1, and then spends a CP to re-roll it and makes it. So I was trying to kill Trajan with the multi-melters. It didn't work out. My assassin, he charged my assassin. I think I overwatched, but then she has fight first, so he charged in. I fought first and killed his assassin. So his assassin was fighting each other on this bottom edge, which was pretty funny. And then we piled in towards the closest objective. These guys got picked up and dropped back down on the center objective. And what happened prior with this guy is I had the secondary where if I'm within 6 inches of the center and he's not within 6 inches of the center, I can get 5 points. So I came down, did that thing, but then I tried to kill his assassin to be greedy. I rolled a 1, and then I rolled a 6. Now, since my librarian's not controlling a team or leading a unit, he doesn't get a forward field pain against mortals. So basically, he rolled a 1 and then killed himself, and I wasn't able to get 5 points. So that lost me 5 points for controlling the center, which was fucking brutal. So that's why I was flipping off my librarian. So now nothing's in the center. That librarian would have came in clutch on the last turn. So he has his guys up the top. He gets aerial denial at the end of your turn of 1 more army wholly within 6. So this is what I had. Overwhelming force while your secondary is active. Each time an enemy unit started a turn in range of objective mark is destroyed. So I had to try and kill Trajan, which I couldn't. and I had to be within the center to try and get 5 points. So that's why we put our librarian and everybody in the center to try and get those 5 points, which we did. And then all of his guys are here. They're going to try and move up to try and get points. So he got behind enemy lines, which he can get 3 points for tactical, and then assassination. And then he was going to spend 1 CP to get rid of behind enemy lines, but he didn't really need to after we did the points, and he got bring it down, which was hilarious. I would have got him 0. So he went back and kept the behind enemy line, so that way he can actually get points. Because once we added it up, there was no point to exchange it, so we kept it just to get the points. So this is basically the final matchup. He has his exaction squad over here for behind enemy lines, which I believe was 3 points. He finished off these 2 guys back here to take over the objective because Crow is 1 OBSEC, Trajan is 2 OBSEC. So he took over that backfield objective by killing these 2, whatchamacallit? So he shot them and then charged and then finished them off in combat. And then at the end of the game, I was able to get 10 points because I controlled the center objective and this backfield objective with the assassin, and he was able to get 15. So we got my backfield objective, this objective, and Trajan fucking took over this objective for 15 points at the end of the game, which was brutal. So we killed these last 2 guys. He didn't really have to kill Crow for assassinate. He just had to take over the objective by killing these 2 guys. And let me bring up the final score. All right, so this is the final score. Close game. We added up at the very end, and it was by 5 points basically. All right. Priority targets, we got 10, 5, 10, and then 5 on the last turn, and then or 10 and 10 on the last turn. So we got 10 and 10 on last turn for 45 points. We missed it by 5, which would have been a max for primary, which isn't bad on that mission. That mission is super easy to get primary because it's 10 max and then 15 at the very end. Turn 1 we got 5, turn 2 we got 10, turn 3 we got 8 and 6, which was huge combo with turn 3. Turn 4 we got 5, which should have been turn 5, we got 5. So I think on turn 5 this would have been 5. Turn 4 I got 0. So turn 4 is where I fucked up with my librarian who killed himself. That should have been a 5 point, so that should have been 5 and 0. And then turn 5, we should have got 2 more secondaries or something like that to try and get more points. So that was kind of a big mistake. If you're really if you're a solo librarian, the chances of rolling a 1, yes, are low, but still could happen. If I'm going for fucking points to try and win the game, you probably shouldn't roll for your assassin or your librarian. Sorry. So that was my mistake there. And then down here we got Nolan. He got 5, 5, 10, and then 25. So we kept him to 5 for the primaries. And then on turn 3 is where turn 4 he really came back and got 10 for max. And then on turn 5 he got 10 and then 15, which was awesome. So 45, 45. So we tied primary, which is crazy against Custodes. Extend battle lines, he got 7 turn 1, 5 turn 2, 10 turn 3, 8 on turn 4, and then on turn 5 he got 8 as well. So he beat me on primaries by 4 points. So end of the game we lost by math. It says it at the top. 89-93. So 4-point loss to Custodes. If one of these turns we would have got 1 more point with the secondary, 5 points, or if we got 1 more for primary. So it was such a close game against Nolan. First time we ran this list. This is our test list for Nova with the Grandmaster and the Paladins. I really like that combo. There's some different ideas and tactics that I'm throwing up on Discord, but Patreons, I obviously post on Patreons first, just kind of get their ideas and then throw it into everybody else. But let's go over what we would change. Okay, so with the list you guys saw, the biggest differences that I did was I took out the servitors, their OPSEC 0. So that would have been a huge difference when it came to the last turn. The last turn, if those were exaction squads, they could have at least just ran up to the point and survive on the point against Trajan, because Trajan had to kill the Purifiers, Crow, or the exaction squad. Now the exaction squad is 1 point for OPSEC. So let's just say I had 3 on there, or even just 2 on there. That would have stopped him from getting the final points for 5, so that would have stopped 5 points, and that would have got me 5 points at the very end. So that would have been a 10-point swing both ways if they were exaction squads. So now you can go, if you really want, you can go. I don't have the points in this specific list. I mean, you do, but then you'll be left up with 10 points. Now you could go, what are they called? Voidsmen at Arms. They're OPSEC 2, which I just saw the other day. So Voidsmen at Arms is OPSEC 2. And I'm just thinking about late game objective stealing or early game objective stealing, and just kind of being there on a point to stop 5 to 10 points for an objective. It's pretty clutch. So having OPSEC is huge. With Chaos Space Marine, their Nurglings are OPSEC 0, so it's like using them to try and steal stuff. Same with us for Servitors, the fucking 50 points for OPSEC 0. So those Servitors not being on the backfield objective was huge for me. So I got rid of those guys. I put the Exaction Squad back in, so I have 2 Exaction Squads, and I had 15 points left over, which you can't really do anything for 15 points. So I gave our Paladin Inescapable Wrath. So he has +1 to charges. He might have +1 advance. I don't know. I think it's just +1 charges. So he has +1 to charge. Now, the other enhancement is 20 points, so that's too much. So Inescapable Wrath, I think, is just +1 to charge. So if he does come down, he has an 8-inch charge if he needs it to try and get into combat with something or anything. So he just has that extra 15-point upgrade. So still 2 Librarians, Inescapable Wrath on one of them. First to the Fray is so good for secondaries. Coming down within 3 inches and just landing on objective with 3 OBSEC Terminators, and then him counting as 2 OBSEC is a lot of OBSEC. Being able to steal it against Knights is huge. I still love Crow. I still like him to just kind of kill 2 wound or 2 up save models because the -1 and then ignore cover. They have a 3 up save, so you're going to wound them 33% of the time. And the Flamers, I'm going to keep the Incinerators on the Purifiers because of that combo. If they're Sight Cannons, they're just going to get a fucking 2 up save anyway. So I'd rather just have the Incinerators, and it deters people from charging them sometimes. And it's probably good against Jean-Philippe, which we haven't faced yet. Grandmaster, fucking amazing. This was the first game out of, I think, 5, maybe 6 games that I played with him that he's died. So that combo with the Sigil and the free strat to not be shot at, I didn't need that this turn, so I used it on the Devastating Wounds, which doesn't really do anything because I think I only wounded him 3 times with my Paladins, because you need roll 6s with no rerolls. 2 Strike Squads, I might change them to Incinerators just to have some more auto-hitting shots. And the Purifiers already went over. The Cloud Assassin, amazing. We found out that game that it can go up and down every single turn, so it basically has a built-in teleport assault. She is just so good for secondaries. And then 2 Exaction Squads. So that's going to be my list that I'm going to test out a couple more times. His list, he's going to change it up a couple. That was the winning Tacoma GT list, which is fucking insane. But he's going to change it up and kind of run smaller units to have more options for secondaries. And he's going to bring test in some Terminator units for the Custodes and the Blade Captains. The Blade Captains give the units advance and charge, which is fucking bonkers to me. But yeah, so I really think with the change that just happened, we didn't really get anything. We got something which we already knew. That's how it was worded. And then our Land Raiders went up 2 speed. Cool. So there's a lot that I think should be upgraded. I don't think it's going to happen before Nova, but Nova's coming up at the end of August, so in about 3 weeks we'll have a ton of stuff to go over, especially with battle reports. But this is the first battle report I did specifically and taking pictures with, so I'd like to get your guys' idea and feedback on what you liked, what you thought about it. It's a lot shorter of a video. It's only 27-30 minutes long because I don't have to record for 2 hours. Most of my videos are about 1.5 to 2 hours for battle reports. Depends on how in game we are and how many turns we're taking. We know we're getting tabled by turn 2 or 3. We basically just talk it out on turn 4. But I'd like to get your idea on if this is better, if you like these types of battle reports, because this will be a lot easier for me to do. But I also still want to do live action battle reports or maybe streaming, because I don't want to get rid of those that type of content. So I'd like to get your feedback. If you guys like the channel, you like these videos, comment, support, head over to Patreon, and join the Discord. The Discord is fucking popping. We have almost 600 players in there right now. It's very competitive but chilled back environment, if you guys haven't noticed already. That's this type of channel. It's a very beer drinking, have fun, but also be competitive at the same time. There's a lot of different channels on YouTube, so thanks for clicking on this one. We're trying to grow it as much as possible. We're hugely supported by our Patreons. We're almost up to $600 a month, and I wouldn't really be doing it this much if we weren't supported by you guys. So I appreciate you. There's a lot of merch up on Discord if you guys want some dice, stickers, 3D6 Wargaming placemats. A lot of shit coming up. Guys, I'll give you the secret. There's a lot of videos that we're making on the channel. Let me get it and share you what's coming up on the channel. Here's a list so you guys know. List building ideas for 10th edition, tactical. Movement phase for Grey Knights. Movement phase tactics. Best chaos phase between units, points per versus value. Ally units, fill gaps / points. Best Grey Knight allies. Cypher versus Calidus. Calidus strats. Best strats for -1 CP. Grey Knights versus armor, and that's a sad phase. And then charge phase, new strats. So we're going to be doing all these videos. I have scripts written up for most of them, and they're going to be coming up soon. Patreon get first access. We post everything on Patreon first, so that's kind of the benefit of being a Patreon. And yeah, so a lot of shit coming up on the channel. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, and more to come, and we'll see you in another video soon.